This is Andre Younan from Teamwayfinder, and today we're interviewing David Vincent, the voice of Grimjow from Bleach, Gilgamesh from Fate Zero, and from the mega popular anime series Kill la Kill.
Hey, this is David Vincent, the voice of Senketsu from Kill la Kill. Ryuko, feed me your blood!
It's an honor to have you on the show.
It's great to be on. I appreciate you having me.
Alright, so first question. How did you get into voice acting, David?
I got into voice acting years ago. I had started off in New York City, and I was doing stand-up and sketch comedy at a little club in Times Square called Don't Tell Mama. And I was doing a sketch where I was making fun of TV commercials, and so I was doing 1,000 different voices making fun of these commercials in my bit. And after my show, I actually had a gal come up to me, and she asked me, "Hey, do you have an agent?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Here's my card. You need to call me." And so she actually got me my first audition, my first agent, and the very first audition for a voiceover that I went on was for a Rolling Rock beer commercial, a radio spot. And I actually booked it, my very first audition. And so with that, that started the very long um, haul of a voiceover career, which I still am doing today.
From all the different kind of medias that you've voice acted in, from live action to anime to cartoons and video games, what is your favorite form of media to voice act in?
As far as voice acting, I would say it's got to be doing animation. That's just the gravy. It's so much fun. What a lot of folks don't know is that a lot of us voice actors also make money doing radio and TV commercials. So you won't know that it's Senketsu or Grimjow selling you, Kmart lowest sale prices every time. It's us. You just don't know it's us. That's those are also a lot of fun, but I really have to say doing animation is just my absolute favorite. It's just a treat to get to do it and actually get paid to do something that you love to do.
So how was it like recording for the anime Kill la Kill, since it's very like out there, over the top, rambunctious? How was that experience? Because you're playing a character that's essentially not really human and a live piece of clothing.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, I love this series, and oftentimes I don't have the chance to actually watch the show before I go in and record the character. So you're really 110% reliant on your director to take you through the process of what's happening in the show. This show, I actually have been able to watch the show prior to going in and recording, and the director that I'm working with, Alexander Von David, fantastic director, really encouraged me to do that. And the show itself, it's so crazy. I mean, I honestly have found myself just having belly laughs just watching the show prior to going in and recording it. So me, it amps it up. I love the zaniness of it, the craziness of it, the humor. It's been a blast. I've loved working on the show.
How was it like recording for the video game Tales of Grace's F, since it was a much bigger project with a much more different things to record, from skits to fighting to etc.? How was it? How was that experience for you?
Working on Tales of Graces was a really fun game to work on. I recorded for weeks on that project. I think there were over 3,000 lines that we recorded for that
Oh
game.
wow.
And yeah, it was with the difference with recording video games as opposed to an anime or an animated series, where you kind of get an idea of what's happening in the series. In the video game, you really have no context, so you're completely and totally reliant upon your director to tell you exactly what's happening in whatever scene it is that you're recording and why you're saying what you're saying, and you don't get any animation to watch or see. So I was really, really reliant upon my director for that game. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of different. If you're familiar with the series, Richard goes through. He goes into Lambda and
Oh
just all
yes,
these
yeah.
different areas where he's noble. He's a upbeat character, and then he's evil, and he's got real issues going on. And then the royal crablets, the funny sketches at the very end of the parts of the game. So it was kind of a roller coaster working on that game, but it was a lot of fun.
Out of all the different characters that you've played in for video games and animation, do you have a favorite character that you've voiced in general?
It's hard. It's kind of like choose your favorite baby. Um,
Exactly.
they're all so much fun. I love just getting to work. Uh, Jagger Jack from Bleach was certainly one of my favorites. I fell in love with that character. I actually did the character about 2 years before he came out in the anime in a video game. And when we recorded him in the video game, I absolutely fell in love with that character, and I just knew that I had to play this character when he came out in the anime, because you're never guaranteed to play if you're happen to be in the video game. You're not guaranteed to play him in the anime. So I hounded the studio that did the anime for gosh, probably 2 years, just saying, "Hey, you know that character Grimjaw?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we know." And then, of course, 2 years later, I wound up having to audition against like 30 or 40 other guys anyway. But I still got the part, so that was cool. But yeah, that character was great. There's another anime series, and it didn't get a ton of play, but it's called Gun Sword or Gun X Sword, however you want to pronounce it. And I did the lead character in that anime, the character Vaughn. And that character to me was just an amazing experience getting to voice him, because he had so many different emotions. He's a melancholy, he's out for revenge, and very subdued character, but then flies into these fits of rage, and it's just a really cool series. Got a lot of humor in that one as well, and very very well written. So yeah, I recommend that one. That was one of my favorites. And then of course, um, video game wise, Richard Blaze Blue is also one of my favorite video game series that I've gotten to work on, uh, where I voice Jin Kisaragi and Hakumen in that series. And I love getting crazy with Jin, and when he loses it over Ragnar the Blood Edge, that one's a great one. And then Senketsu has just been an absolute blast to play.
Do you have any funny stories in the booth?
Uh, yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. I was working on the series Gunsword that I just mentioned, and I was in the booth, and my character in Gunsword speaks in a he's very subdued, he's very melancholy, so he's Vaughn of the Dawn throughout the entire series. And so Liam O'Brien is directing the series, and so he's used to hearing me going Vaughn of the Dawn. And about I don't know, 5 6 episodes in, a new character is introduced by the name of Michael. Michael is the character is a 14-year-old boy who the character Vaughn finds annoying, and he is voiced by a remarkably talented actor, Yuri Lowenthal. And so I started hearing Yuri's voice as we were recording Vaughn, because we record by ourselves. We're never with the other actors, and at least in anime. And so I'm recording Vaughn of the Dawn. I started practicing Yuri's voice as I kept on hearing it in my truck, going to and from the studio. And so one day we're in the recording, and Liam and the Julian Beeson, who is our engineer, had been used to just hearing me in that single monotone Vaughn of the Dawn. And so I just busted out one day in between takes, Vaughn, what's happening? In Yuri's voice.
Oh
And
man.
Liam and Julian are in there like pressing buttons, going, "What is going on? Where is Yuri's voice coming from?" So that was a good story. I had a great time with that one. Lots of fun stories.
Do you have any tips for up and coming voice actors?
I do. I do. Honestly, one of the things that I would really recommend is get on stage if you can. If you're still in school, do all the plays that you can. If you're out of school, do any theater, any chance you have to perform, do it. Take the opportunity and do it, because really you learn by doing. Also, I highly recommend take classes. Take voice acting classes, regardless of where you live. You should have an opportunity to take classes. Keep your eyes peeled for workshops, things like that, because you learn just so much, just about technique, how to develop a voice character, just different opportunities that are available as a voice actor. Yes, animation, video game, those are so much fun, and they're a terrific part of a career. But I also recommend exploring audiobooks, look into radio and TV commercials. There's just a lot of opportunity out there for up and coming voice actors today. So keep your eyes peeled for those workshops and classes.
Has there been any like inspirations that you had when trying to become a voice actor, like people that you've studied to help you find your own way and your own style of acting?
You know, I have voice actors that I admire. Um, I haven't necessarily studied what they've done. I've been doing voices since I was a little kid. I used to drive my poor mom nuts, just doing silly voices. So it's something that kind of came naturally to me. And this, the more that it's like a muscle, any muscle, the more you do it, the more you exercise that muscle, the stronger it gets. And so, just over the course of my career, I've done it so much and so often that I've built a repertoire of different voices. I've built my own techniques and things like that. Voice actors that I admire, Dan Castellaneta always comes first to my mind. I just think that he's just a wonderful voice actor. He's the voice of Homer Simpson, for those of you who don't know,
Oh yes.
and many, many other characters. Mel Blanc, of course, is kind of like the pinnacle of heroes for voice actors, for animation voice actors. Um, I'll tell you a quick funny story. Steve Bloom is a colleague and a friend who I respect tremendously. Steve is actually the one that introduced me to the world of anime, because I had been doing voiceover professionally for probably 7, 8 years, 9 years before ever getting introduced to anime, and Steve was the one that actually introduced me to anime. So Steve is also an inspiration. I have admired how his career, because we've, gosh, 12, 13 years now, I've known him, have admired how his career has just grown over time.
So yeah, it's been a great interview. It was an awesome. It was a blast. Do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts, you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the shows that I do and playing the games that I do. Without you guys, we wouldn't have our careers. So thank you guys for what you do.
All right, thank you very much for coming on the show, David. It was an honor to have you on.
You got it.